All right. Hey now. Welcome to episode 4 of the new season of TMP. We are here with Jenni Lee today. And what we're going to talk about is the Ukraine thing. And one of the reasons why, because Jenni is as passionate as I am. And if you've seen her profile on the website, she's a little mini Mike, but she's got a lot of power in her voice. She is very opinionated. We're both progressives. We met way back in middle school, actually. So
Mhm.
we wanted to talk about the sacrifices that are being made right now in Ukraine. And so for anybody that doesn't know, everybody should know a little bit by now, is that Russia has invaded Ukraine. This is day 6. And why does it matter? Ukraine is not part of our NATO alliance, not yet. But that nation borders a lot of our NATO states. Now, NATO is a treaty alliance that we have with Western nations, other democracies. There's 30 of us in that agreement. And the rule is an attack against one is an attack against all. We called in our
Mhm.
NATO alliance when we went to Afghanistan after Osama bin Laden. And that's why there were troops from, Britain and the UK and France and Ireland and everywhere else. Part of the alliance, they came to help us. If Putin, and we all know if he takes over Ukraine, he's not going to stop there. He's going to encroach
Mhm.
into NATO territory. That's why right now our president has sent troops over to Europe to bolster up those border states. Our 82nd Airborne is over there helping out with the refugee crisis. But if Putin does what we think he's going to do, if he gets a hold of Ukraine, then that means we're going to war. Now, already the administration has put in place, not just our administration, but the world, the NATO alliance has put in all kinds of sanctions that are hit. The Russian economy has collapsed basically overnight. And so
Mhm.
and Germany cutting off the oil and gas, all this is going to make our gas prices go up. We're going to see even worse
Mhm.
inflation than we already have. But compared to what they're sacrificing over there for the rest of us, that's small potatoes. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So Jenni, you've been following this just like I have. So what would you
Mhm.
say to Americans right now who aren't ever are really not really prepared, I don't think, for what is going on, what it means for us in the long run?
I Well, I would definitely suggest that they do some research and look at why this is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's been plotting this for a while. This wasn't an overnight decision. So the fact that he's been planning it and he wants it and he's making up excuses to attack and then lying about it, like his media has nothing about what's going on, anything like that, that tells me he's not going to stop. So it's not even about, I don't even think it's even about Ukraine. He just wants Ukraine so that he can, like you said, push up to all the other countries because
Mm-hmm.
he's already threatening, playing the victim.
Yeah.
He's trying to scare everyone into just giving him what he wants. And,
Yeah.
and I think he'll end up enlisting China, and China's going to make a move on Taiwan.
Mm. Now that's an angle that I hadn't even thought about, but yeah, yeah. I mean, because then that would
Yeah, I think
divert.
Biden spoke out against that.
Mm.
I think we even just sent some troops to Taiwan to send a message that China can't um, make its move. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We grew up with the Cold War of the 90s, which was basically, I remember from my perspective, it was about the nuclear arms race. Didn't know the
Mhm.
history between us and Russia. All I knew is that Russia had a bunch of nuclear warheads and we had a bunch of them. And we were racing each other,
Mhm.
see who could have more. And
Mhm.
so we all got used to the term mutually assured destruction or MAD. Because we're like, if one sets off, then we
Mhm.
set off. And that means the end of the world. So a war like that is really ridiculous. Right now, we're looking at the possibility of having a world war with nuclear powers. I
Mhm.
mean, the NATO alliance, we're all
Mhm.
nuclear powers.
Mhm.
Russia's like, well, we got nukes
And
and I'm gonna
then,
put
like I
my
said,
people. Yeah.
and China has nukes too. So if
Mm-hmm.
they decide to make a move on Taiwan, I know NATO's ready to do something about that
Yeah,
because that will affect Europe apparently and
that's
the
right.
trade and stuff.
The
So
trade. Yeah.
it's going to get messy, very, very, very messy.
And like you said, that's the goal. The saber rattling, even just a hint at nuclear war in this context, I think Putin and Xi are counting on the fact that just that threat is enough to make us, hold the line, to stop, not go as far as we can go, not, fight back. Because like what right now, the Ukrainian people, and I listened to President Zelensky's speech this morning at the EU Parliament, and one of his ambassadors, the former president, they've had a couple of people on MSNBC this morning, and what they're asking for right now is for us to institute a no-fly zone. And you're going to hear that a lot over the next few days, because basically the ground troops, the Ukrainian ground troops and the civilians, they're doing the damn thing. I mean, they are really holding off Russia. And they've got that 40-mile stockpile of weapons coming to them, like slowed down in the mud for 6 days. What they're saying is the cruise missiles, the bombs are coming from the air. And can we make Russia stop that? Can we handle that part while they do on the ground? Now, Americans are probably like, yeah, why can't we do that? Because one, Ukraine isn't a NATO ally. We have a treaty. Every nation is sovereign. That's why we have a problem with what Russia's doing. We don't have any right to go invade another nation's space any more than they have to invade ours. So even though Ukraine is like, come help us, that means we would have to shoot down Russian planes over Ukraine space. Now, one of the representatives from the parliament in Ukraine, she said, we have the technology that we don't have to shoot down planes. I don't know about that. She said our military can bring down a plane without shooting it down. And we could put in a no-fly zone that way.
They hack it.
Yeah, that's what she was saying, basically.
Hack it. Yeah, apparently a couple of Putin's yachts have already been hacked. They've been hacking his stuff. And they redirected his yacht to crash they crashed one of his yachts.
Yeah, there's all kinds of guerrilla cyber warfare happening right now.
Regular hackers can, yeah. So if hackers can do it, I'm sure that we could. Whether or not we would, I know that we could. Yes, yeah.
I mean, it would be considered an act of war, and that would escalate. But
yeah, and that's probably what he wants.
That's exactly what he wants, because that would give him.
He wants us to escalate it.
And so, geopolitically, it's very hard to criticize anything President Biden's been doing. I mean, he's doing this part masterfully. I mean, he hasn't done international politics as well, but with our NATO alliance, he has really brought us back. And this threat is really unifying the alliance, unlike it's been since 1945. And we need it. We need everybody to be what they're doing now. Germany really shocked me. Sweden, Switzerland. I mean, like all of this is like new.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. But like I said, I think he's just protagonizing us. He wants America to act. So I think it's not best to act right now.
No, not in the way
that he wants. Excuse to go even crazier.
Right. I think we're just going to have to figure out how to combat what they're doing from the air on the ground. And so we're sending lots of aid, and they said that they are receiving it, that it's coming fast. Because I think the day before yesterday, one of our ambassadors was saying it has to happen faster. And well, one of the representatives from Ukraine was like, oh, it's coming. We're getting it. It's here. So we've sped up that. We're arming them. We're helping arm. NATO's arming them. We've got allies arming them and stuff. So we're doing what we can. I think what President Biden's doing and what our NATO alliance is doing is what we can do. I think the EU, admitting them into the EU is going to go a long way to help protect them. But as long as they're outside the NATO alliance, our interests lie beyond Ukraine, right beyond Ukraine.
Right.
Which is why this is important. And that's why Americans need to understand. You're related to a service member, they're going to Europe. They're going to Europe, even just to be on standby. We've got what they said, 100,000 now in country, on continent. So we're going to have a lot of troops over there. And what we're doing is trying to prevent a world war, trying to prevent Putin from getting beyond Ukraine and all throughout Europe. And there are smaller states than Ukraine, right beyond Ukraine. You got Slovakia, you got Romania, you got countries that'll be a lot easier to take over than Ukraine. Ukraine's never going to give it. They're not. They're going to keep an insurgency going. Putin is never going to be able to rule Ukraine. But if he pushes
Good.
beyond Ukraine,
Mm-hmm. And we don't know what his end game is. That's the worst part. What he's acting like he'll go to the limits to get what he wants,
yeah,
knowing that he's endangering himself by doing this at this point. I mean,
yeah,
he's not even telling the soldiers what they're going over there for.
right.
I hear a lot of them said they were just going over there to save these people, and then when they get there, they're told to start shooting.
Yeah, yeah. They thought they were on an exercise, like it was just training.
Mm.
So he's had to lie to his own troops. He's lying to his people, which by the way, so you can't believe either side right now on the casualties. No one says there's at least
Right.
a couple thousand Russian dead already. And so their people are going to know
Yeah.
that, right? Like this, you can lie about it, but people are going to know that. I mean, Russians are waking up today not being able to get money out of their ATMs and stuff. People know what's going on, whether you lie to them or not. But that just shows how weak he is and how cornered he is. But he's crazy. He's lost it. He used to be some kind of
When I heard he stocked up on money,
yeah, for years.
I heard he's got money stocked, so he's not going to, he's not going to starve. So he doesn't care if his people starve.
Well, but because Swift Bank, well, now because all the banks have gone along, he is cut off of he's not going to be able to grab that money like he used to. That's been cut off. Swift Bank, all that stuff, he's been isolated in a way that he has never done. When President Biden kept saying, we're going to put in sanctions that you've never seen before, he wasn't lying. We couldn't have done it on our own. It's us plus everybody else. And wow, I mean,
Right.
what's going to happen in Germany with their oil and gas prices is ours is small potatoes compared to what's going to happen. They get the majority of their oil and gas from Russia. Most of Europe does. So, I mean, we're going to have to pay more. And we got to be patriotic about it and say, okay, and quit bitching about it. Because they're going to be Republicans. Because right now you got some of them chanting Putin. So there are going to be some of them who's going to use that as a wedge. Oh, look at your gas prices. Look at the inflation. Look at what Joe Biden has brought you. People, we are at the verge of a world war. So if we have to pay a little bit more for gas, then that's what the fuck we're going to have to damn it do. And quit bitching about it.
You would think by the UN.
Yeah.
Well, if the UN is taking it serious, you would think that the everyday people here would be. That's what I don't get. Like, they just think it's a game. And he's bluffing and Ukraine really is bad and blah, blah, blah.
It's crazy. And those people, even though they're the small minority, they're loud.
They know it.
Yeah. And the media is always tempted to jump on any little thing they say. We can't be divided right now. We need them to shut the fuck up. If you got an opinion like that, then shut the hell up already. We are not listening to you. We stand with Ukraine as a nation, as a democracy. And so, yeah, they're going to be on that goofy stuff. And this is a political season because there is an election in November. So there are dummies and lunatics running for office on the Republican side that are going to say, oh yeah, look at the gas prices under Biden. Instead of us understanding that these gas prices are because we are putting crippling sanctions on Russia because Germany's been working on that pipeline for over a decade with Russia. And they're like, you know what, fuck it, $52 billion. And they're like, oh, well, we'll sacrifice that. Because
they've been through this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they have.
They
All of Europe has. Yeah.
They don't want to go through this again, my God.
Hell no. And they're finally, I mean, they're one of the strongest democracies on the planet. So they don't want to fuck it up. Every European nation has a.
Well, I was hearing that Right. When I heard that there hasn't even been an attack like this since the 1930s or 40s, whenever that was that he started the attack.
40s. Yeah. Hasn't been.
Just so unfounded and just not hitting anybody.
Yeah. This is no joke.
I think he bombed. Yeah, he bombed one of the government buildings today.
And
blew it up.
Yeah. I can't pronounce it. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're learning all kinds of Ukrainian names and words now, but yeah. I think he's lost it. I think he's losing all kinds of credibility on the world stage. I think he thought wrongly that we were divided enough and weakened enough, and NATO was weakened enough after Chuck, that this was his time to attack. And what he found was Ukraine was like, get the fuck out of our country. We aren't going your way. We're not Russian. And NATO said, you know what? You need to get back in your lane, right? And we got a real president, an American president. So Joe Biden's like, yeah, and we ain't fucking around. We'll do it too. So, yeah.
When I heard that he had a meeting with either France or somebody else over there, somewhere in Europe, one of their presidents, Putin did, and he had said, yeah, we're going to stop the bombing. We'll stay away from it. And literally, while the guy was tweeting out the response, he started bombing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, just F you. We're going, this is how much you can trust me. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. I just told you the line that I'm living. Yeah. Who can trust you? Right. He's nuts. And now he's embarrassed. And now it's like he had a chance to turn his back to say, oh, well, I tested it. And he's not thinking rationally. Nothing that he's doing is rational right now, which means he's lost it. His marbles are rolling on the floor somewhere. And he's lost them. And who knows?
Talking about stuff from thousands of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for real. Who knows what somebody like that corner?
Like England coming and attacking us, take America back. Blue.
Fat chance.
When you once belong to us, we're taking it back.
Yeah, I don't think he's that damn crazy. He can try. I mean, we can end this real quick if he tried that.
No, I mean, I said that's what it would be like. It'd be like Boris just bombing us, saying, you know what, we used to own America, so we're taking it back. It's rightfully ours, and we're taking it back.
That's exactly
that's what he sounds like. That's what he sounds like.
Yeah, you belong here. And we would be like, bitch, get somewhere and learn something. No, we wouldn't just give up. We wouldn't just give it away. So, yeah, Ukraine's like,
all of his complaints.
Yeah.
Well, all his complaints, he's not going to get them. Like, you're making it worse, saying he doesn't want Ukraine to be in NATO, where you're pushing them to go into it. You know what I mean? You want to be respected on the global thing. Now you're not ever going to be respected. Never.
Forever. Yeah.
I mean,
it's not rational.
Came out and threatened to nuke the world.
Yeah, you're done, so buddy. That's it for you. You're off the stage. There goes Sandman, dragging him off the game. There you go.
I wish.
He did too much. And now he's like, I think he knows it. And he's like, to save face. Did you see Zelensky or the Ukrainian, one of their ambassadors gave a speech at Parliament or the UN or the EU? It was like, if you want to kill yourself, you don't need nuclear bombs to do it. Just go in the bunker like the other dude did in Nazi Germany in 1945 and go kill yourself, right? Basically, go kill yourself, right? I think he would be. He's like, fuck it. If it's over for me, it's over for the whole world. He's that kind of bananas. And
then the whole UN walked out on the Russian representative at the UN. When he went to talk, everybody walked out. He shouldn't even be there. Then when he already has to say if he's just going to lie.
That's right. Everybody walked out. That was beautiful. After giving Zelensky a standing ovation in Parliament over his speech to Parliament.
Oh, that has to be what hurts him the most.
That was awesome. That was.
I mean, he's got all those topless. But Putin has all those topless pictures out there, like he looks so tough at 5'4". And then you got Zelensky was like out in combat.
In combat, but handing out guns and shit while he in the bunker.
So hot on that horse.
You go ahead, go ride your little horse, big boy. Yeah, it's see this is what he's like. Oh, I'm super bad. He is conflicted. He is having a psychotic moment. His actual self is crashing up against his imagined self. And it's going cuckoo. And
because his own people's been in the streets ever since it started.
He's
what is he going to do now? What's he think they're going to do?
What is he going to do?
I mean, they're going to have nothing to lose.
No,
they're going to have nothing to lose, nothing to fear, because they'll be starving and already feeling like they're going to die. So,
and what about his troops? They're not going to keep fighting a war like that, whereas people back home are being starved. They're against it now. You know, their economy's collapsing, so it's not like he's going to have the resources to continue to fight it like he is on Ukraine's territory. I mean, with the whole world
Right.
with Ukraine and against him. He made a bet and he was wrong, and he had a few days before he invaded to change his mind. And I think it was ego. I think it's his psychotic nature and his ego that pushed him to keep going, because everybody was like, well, he's pulling it back. He's like, oh yeah, we'll negotiate now. He's starting to walk it all back. And that was enough to make him go, no, I'm not. Send in the troops.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay. He did. This one,
He had to have known when he did that would make him mad.
I don't think he
When
realized.
he bombed right after telling him he would.
Yeah, I don't think he counted on Germany. I didn't count on Germany being like, fuck the pipeline and we'll just have to deal, we'll make do, we'll figure out somewhere else to get gas. Right? Like, I didn't expect that. Didn't expect Sweden or Switzerland to have anything to say with it, because they never do.
Yeah, I never heard them say anything about anything.
And I mean, they stood on the sidelines during Nazi Germany. Yeah.
Huh?
They kicked them out of the banks. Yeah. So no more Swiss bank accounts for these people. And we're seizing property. So, I mean, this is new territory. We can't have a war like that with nuclear weapons. End of story. And NATO is responding just like that. Like, no, we won't.
As they should, yeah.
And I'm glad. And we need to all recognize why. I mean, Trump spent 4 whole years trying to tear down NATO on behalf of Putin. He didn't understand the long game that Putin's been playing, like you understand, like the rest of us get. He's just an idiot. You know, he was just being used to get this done. But he failed. And Putin is like, fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. Wrong answer. Wrong answer, because you're getting pushback. And ain't nobody listens to that door run down in Florida. They're like, what the hell? I mean, even there,
you can't really, anybody that is praising Putin, I can't trust anything they say. If you're saying he's amazing and he's smart and genius.
Yeah.
Not smart and genius.
You've burned all of your credibility from here until eternity. I mean, you saw Mike Pompeo was like, oh, he's brilliant. Well, like I said, they're going to try to manipulate. That's what they do. They're going to try to spin this somehow in their favor for this election. Americans, be smarter than that. We have to stand with Ukraine for our own interest, if for no other reason. And then 2, that means we're going to have to pay more. Then we're just going to have to, damn it, pay more. Carpool. Don't go there if you don't have to go there. Get on a bike. It's about to be spring. We'll live. But it's a tense time. State of the Union's tonight. Everybody pay attention. I hope Biden focuses on this mainly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would imagine he would, but we'll see.
We'll see. You have been great. We're going to do a bunch of these. I need
Thank you.
A co-host. So look for Jenni Lee. She's going to be on the podcast from here on out. She's got her page on our website. So go to gonewprogressives.com. We'll see you soon. Thank you.